Hey everyone, glad to be here. Blessings of the day. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, welcome. My name is SHAKKA-AHMOSE. I'm a research specialist, independent, and I do the best that I possibly can to serve my community by availing to them my own thinking prowess. They say speaking is one of the hardest jobs in the world. I would venture to say that so too is I would venture to say so too is thinking. Thinking is just as hard as speaking. So yeah, definitely. So I don't normally do general Q&As and updates and things like that, but I think I'm overdue for one. So that's what this evening is about. Just to let you know what's going on, what you can look forward to. And I'm just tired of fighting, trying to come on earlier in the daytime when my body is just not, I'm not physically comfortable broadcasting in the daytime. I'm not. I'm usually going through physical changes from either exercising, eating, digesting food, whatever it is. I'm just not in like broadcast mode. So I really don't know how people do that, you know? By the time the evening settles in, my body's very settled, and so I'm more comfortable. I can go for long durations and just, exchange and discourse with you without feeling I have to tend to my own physical person in somehow or some way. So, and my physical is kind of high maintenance, you know, um, you know, so, I'm just kind of laughing at myself a little bit because I can't believe I'm here, that I'm actually doing a live. I always tell people they don't know how much it takes for me to do a live, like just psychologically, because I like things to be ideal. I'm a very idealistic kind of person, and ideal for me would be, early in the afternoon when people are up and out and watching and looking and so forth and so on, and that's ideal for me, but psychologically that's ideal for me, but physically it's not ideal for me. Physically during the day, I'm really just taking care of myself. I'm working out, eating right, shopping for food, quality food, doing research, just running errands, living life, the mundane important things of life. So at this time of day, I'm cool. My worries and my concerns are put away, and whatever thought process I've had to go through, I can go through it. I've already gone through it. So I feel comfortable saying my time is yours now. My mind's not like all over the place wondering about this or worrying about this. So it is a Q&A. So, and it's also an update, but it is certainly the Q&A. So for those of you who are here with questions, it's your lucky, it's your lucky night, it's your lucky evening, it's your lucky day, right? Because people know I charge to answer questions. You got to, if you don't charge to answer questions, You'll be living in the street and people will be looking at you wondering, why are you in the street? You thought I should answer questions for free. That's why. But tonight I will be answering questions. You can always show your love, support, and respect for the platform. Yeah, the last time I was up here, I think I was doing a presentation on Cat Williams' interview, one of his interviews. And the title of the platform at the time was A Teachable Moment with SHAKKA-AHMOSE. Well, since then, I've had a revelation. And I'm always looking for, I'm too much of a perfectionist. That's what really takes me so long to come up. There's certain things I need to be tucked tight and pulled away or tucked away when I come up here. And so, and I always say, there's a lot in a name. At least for me, it is. That's the Kemetic in me. Names are very important. And I realized that when I'm debating people often, or rather when people are attempting to debate me, I don't really debate people. When people are attempting to debate me, I realize that I have to punctuate my responses just to prepare them for how they should receive it. Is I often punctuate my remarks with, look, facts over feelings, And I realized how much that resonates with people. So I was like, that needs to be the name of the platform, facts over feelings. I was really excited when I determined that, because I was like, yeah, that's really it. And everybody I ran it though everyone who I ran it by was like, yo, facts over feeling. Like, yeah, that's what's up. So welcome to Facts Over Feelings with SHAKKA-AHMOSE. And this is literally the first iteration of the platform under that name. I will not be changing the name anymore because it took me a long time just to really arrive at what it was this platform is really supposed to be about, what it is that people should expect from me. A teachable moment was okay, but it's kind of benign, almost like harmless. And my teaching is somewhat, or rather, my teaching can be somewhat weaponized because of the veracity of receipts. Most people that you watch usually are very opinionated, or they give you their opinions. And there's nothing wrong with giving an opinion, but I think if you're going to give value to your audience, you should step it up out of the realm of opinion intermittently, actually more so than not, and afford them the luxury of being exposed to facts, because they can then do something with their decision-making process based on facts. Facts matter. Black lives matter and all lives matter and blue lives. No, facts matter. Facts matter. Okay? So, being that this is the first night of Facts Over Feelings, it's your night. You get to ask the questions. I will respond to them. Yeah, so let me just finish with the housekeeping, so to speak. There are a few few links I forgot to. I neglected to. I don't like to use the word forgot. A few links I neglected to put in their proper place, so that when people are asking, as they often do, sometimes people get, I don't want to use the term emotional, but they just feel very grateful for something that I've shared or something that I've taught, and they want to show their appreciation. And what I often tell people is, if you're going to do that, I really don't know what to do at this point. Like, I'm looking at my camera on YouTube at like the appearance, and I just went and purchased a really good streaming camera, and I'm looking at the quality of it, and I really don't care for it too much. And I'm like, I don't know what I need to do to like get the appearance that I really want for this platform. Like, I really don't know, because I'm looking at the stream now on YouTube, and I don't like the way it looks. It looks squiggly, and it's not really clear, you know. And I'm like, what the heck do I have to do? You know, I've always been one of those people that you and I could buy the exact same thing. It'll work perfectly for you. For me, forget about it. So that's just how it is. So Nehem, thank you so much. That's why I just stick to reading and studying. That works for me. Tech stuff just doesn't work for me like the way it works for other people. So because there's no reason why my YouTube imagery should be looking so as bad as it does on my YouTube channel. I'm looking on my YouTube channel right now. I can see it. And I'm like, what's up? You know? What the hell is playback speed? I don't even know what that is. So anyway, whatever. You know. So let me see what it looks like off of 720p and just put it at 480p, which is standard. Probably won't look much different. I'm going to see in a second. Yeah, it pretty much still looks the same. I'm going to put it back on 720. I'm like, what is the point? I'm not buying another camera. And this is like a high-end streaming camera. And so it should really be looking much better, but it doesn't. So anyway, okay. Put it back on there. It just doesn't, no. This doesn't do 1080p. I wonder why it doesn't do 1080p. It should do 1080p. Why not? Why doesn't this go up to already live in 720? Yeah, but you should give me 1080p if I could. This camera can handle it 1080p. So, StreamYard, you suck. I just take StreamCam. Okay. Let's see. So I use this thing they have called Touch Up My Appearance. I have no idea what that's going to do. Yeah. No, I'm taking that off. That looks weird. Anyway, I don't need to be touched up. It is what it is. So, okay, I might end up having to use the camera sent to me by my constituents. It's just so disappointing. Okay. I mean, you spend all that money on a new camera, you're expecting to see something really nice, but whatever. I'm too tired to care. Okay. So, alive and well in Israel. I'm telling you, that moniker cracks me up. Anyway, just to make it official, let's play the intro and get started with this. See you literally in probably like, I don't know, how long is that? 30 seconds or something less? No, it's like 15 seconds. Like 15 seconds. Anyway, be right back.
Yeah. We went from the bottom. Now you hear shouts of my people because we were in the era of the hair. Whoa, wow. This is a hero.
So that is it. That is the official intro. for Facts Over Feelings with SHAKKA-AHMOSE. And you are here with me. So I do have another camera I haven't used yet, but I don't know how to use it. It's a pretty high-end Sony. Hotep Jesus, that sucker, that chump, was supposed to come over here and hook it up for me, but do be forgetting my number, but that's cool. Giving him a hard time. Supposed to be looking out for me, cuz people be doing all of this mouth. Oh, I came to make a way for you, to prepare a place for you so that when you're come and ready to teach the people, everybody set up. Now they don't know you. That's how they do it. That's how they do you. All right, I'm just looking for something that I had in my mind to to remind me of why I'm here. Just a little bit of aesthetics, kind of like some music, so to speak. I respond very much so to music. So here we go. I hate this thing. Here we go. You got me? All right. I'm going to look at you guys in a second. Okay. So welcome everybody. Let me just look through this thing here. Oh, that's what's up. Hold on a second. I hate when things don't work the way they're supposed to. I'm trying to show there we go. Now all of a sudden it works. Yo, Shaka, me and some people did a review of your film short. It was fun, brother. How's the web series coming? All right. Thank you for reviewing it and taking the time to watch it, Roundtable RTG. I'm glad you enjoyed it. People are still watching it. They're still enjoying it. In fact, someone enjoyed it so much that they decided that they were going to take it and put it on YouTube without my permission. It was like, what the like, yo, it's supposed to be them other people that undermine me, not my own people. But, it's always your own people. But I just took that as a sign of excitement and admiration for the work. So once they respectfully removed it from their social media sites, it just made sense to me that if someone is that excited about your work, that's someone that needs to be brought in so that they could contribute that love and that respect and that appreciation to the furtherance so that there's more. Those are the people that you really want. Those are not the people you want to, just because they made an error, those are not the people that you want to cast out or look down on or behave in a mean-spirited way towards. Some people just do things out of excitement, hoping that, that's the way to go. And when it's discovered that it's not the way to go, it's okay. We just pivot and we get back on the right path and we move forward together. So I was really glad that that occurred. We've been trying to meet, but our schedules haven't really been melding. Public Enemy 1, shout out. Issa, peace to you. Issa, alive and well in Israel. It cracks me up. Hey, India. Always a pleasure to see you. Absolutely. Kwame, what's up? Hey, absolutely. Ayo, Kwame, life be lifing. So you good. We all going through stuff, Absolutely. That's what I do. I think you should make more raps after you guys. Well, I don't know which rap song you prefer. I don't know which rap song you're referring to, but I have quite a few rap songs. Those are going to be made available on my Patreon, which I am finally putting up. It's so much for me to do, and I just try to get done what can get done. I don't even beat myself up about managing my time better or correctly. I'm just like, you know what? Life be lifing. I'm lifing with it, and I work as I go. And what gets done gets done. What doesn't get done, hopefully will get done. You know? Hopefully by myself. So I'm finally, another part of it is too, I don't often receive the help or the assistance that I ask for, right? People act and pretend like they want to give it. Because I asked years ago, when I first discovered, I'm not going to put it on him. You got to take personal responsibility and accountability for everything. But, I mean, your peoples are supposed to be your peoples, right? I asked years ago, I asked a certain person whose platform you all used to see me on. I asked him, I was like, yo, help me set up my Patreon. Oh, just watch a tutorial and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's cool. Some people don't work. Like, I'm not really a big tutorial person. Like, I can watch tutorial, but they don't really, I don't know, they don't really work well with me. I don't really vibe with tutorials like that, I vibe more with drilling. Like if somebody shows me how to do something and they drill me, I get it. Tutorials, a lot of times it's because of frequency. A lot of people, when they're doing tutorials, their voice is like a drone. And I learned that the other day. I was watching a woman giving a tutorial about something. She had just happened to be a white woman. But I noticed that when she was talking, it was like Charlie Brown, wah, 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 and she was putting me to sleep. And I'm like, no, that's not how you teach people. If you're teaching people, there has to be some kind of inflection in your voice where it's almost conversational, because then the person is listening. But if you're talking like this, and then you're saying, then do this, and then it's like you're putting me to sleep, And that's most people who are doing tutorials, right? I personally think guys are better at tutorials. That's just my personal opinion. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, cool. So, all right. Chris, MVP Harris, what you doing here? I thought I didn't have the chops. I didn't have what it takes. Like that little white. They got a meme and it makes me laugh. It shouldn't, because we shouldn't corrupt children. We shouldn't do things that cause children to behave in an inappropriate way. But there is a meme that is hilarious of this young little white boy. And he's saying, it's not a meme, I think it's a video, but it's an example that somebody's using. And one of them videos where like I'll be like so-and-so, and this little white, I think it's on TikTok, it's a little white boy, he goes, oh, so you want to fuck with me now? It's hilarious. And I don't think that we should be having children use profanity like that, but it is very funny. It is very, very funny. It makes me laugh. And it's the look on his face, like he really means it. Like, oh, so now you want to fuck with me? It's really funny. So yeah, that's for you, Chris. It's like, oh, so now you want to rock with me? I'm just messing with you, man. Good to have you. Good to see you here. I'm back teaching facts. I never left teaching facts. I don't know where you been. Right. And for those of you who haven't seen the trailer for The Last Night of a Tsar, which is the short film that I produced at the top of the year, and that people are still watching and seeing, and loving and appreciating. Let's take a look at it. This is it. Hey, wonderful. So for those of you who want to see that, who want to experience the short film, just if you look in the description, you'll see the link to it. You can just go to KEMETVILLE.com, or you can just go to SHAKKA-AHMOSE.com. Either way, all of the links are in the description. For those of you who would like to contact me because you're interested in an upcoming web series, KEMETVILLE, the contact info is in the description. So I'd love to hear from you. It's always motivating. So, okay. Oh, so the image and the sound is great. Okay, Sean, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, that's what's up. Looks horrible from my end, but what do I know, right? So Uncle William Humphrey, but I appreciate that, Sean, very much so. 1980 Pain Train, 1980s Pain Train Hotep. Let's see. Sometimes they want you to buy a better plan to get better quality. That might be what it is. Okay. So if that's what it is, heck, I might just go to okay, yeah, I'm on StreamYard, so right. Okay, so it looks good on StreamYard. Okay, cool. All right. With PayPal, Cash App. Oh, for those of you who want to know that, here we go. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. PayPal. This is only because I was asked, so I'm just putting this on the screen because I was asked. Here we go. Boom. Okay, there you go. forevershakka@gmail.com. So I just wanted to put that up there. Please remember to hit the like button. Please remember to subscribe. I just looked at my subscribers and I was like, I've got like 19,000 subscribers, which is, it's not bad, and I appreciate every last one of them. But my subscribers need to really go up, right? So, and that might have to do with my own consistency or lack thereof. However, I'm really just doing so much to bring you guys products that I think you really deserve that no one else wants to bring. Hence, KEMETVILLE, The Last Night of a Tsar, and whatever else, Facts Over Feelings with SHAKKA-AHMOSE. I'm really doing a lot, so I'm not complaining. Not at all. I really am not. I'm a little tired right now, but that's okay. So let me finish looking, see what you guys are talking about. All right. Why did my son quit YouTube? He's not really a social media person. You know, he really isn't. And he never was. So he's more into hands-on, whatever he's doing to further his life. And I respect that. My personality, I mean, I'm not even really a social media person, believe it or not. I've always maintained every time I step in front of a camera, I have to force myself, right? Like really, it took me days to force myself just to do this, but sometimes I get to a point where I get so frustrated with myself that I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even going to let another day go by. I don't care how bad I don't want to do it. I wanted to come on earlier today at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but I ate something that I thought was a light meal just so I could have some energy. And it made me feel like I wanted to fall asleep. I mean, like I was really lethargic. And I was like, damn, like my body, I can't do anything. Like my body does what it wants to do. And I just go with it. Like I don't even fight in it. I don't fight with it anymore. I don't argue it. It's like, okay, that meal made you sleepy. Go to sleep. Rest. You know, don't beat yourself up over it. Just go on later this evening. And then preparation took a minute. So I thought, I don't even trip. It's like, I'm not tripping. When I'm here, I'm here. That's it, you know. Let me see. Uncle Johnson Neffel Lugani. Everyone, yes, please hit the like button and subscribe and share. Don't forget to share. Absolutely. Someone out there all the way from Japan. If he could find me all the way from Japan, then where's everybody else at, right? Absolutely. He's one of the pillars in this community. Very, very real. So there are certain people that frequent my platform and who have made their way into my life. And it's these people, honestly, it's their presence that keeps me from quitting, that keeps me from saying, you know what? I don't want to be bothered with any of this. There's certain people, Ndulugani is one of them. Leah and Hillary in California, a husband and wife, and Khalil, the son. They are another entity. Raymond Hudson, another one. Joe Isla, another one. Right? The general. Right? And his son, another one. So nephew. So there are a few people that have shown such devotion to my teaching and to my efforts and to my undertakings and to the work that I've been working on behind the scenes. They've shown such devotion and such respect for the work that even on my worst days when I'm thinking like, this is not going to work, this is just not going to happen, I think about them. I really do. I think about them and I'm just like, nope, they've given too much. They've contributed too much. I can't not move forward. I can't not make this happen. So, but because my name is on it, when I make something happen, it's got to happen. It's got to happen the way it's supposed to happen. So when I get in that frame of mind, however long it takes, I don't care, just as long as it happens, you know? So that's what's up. But yeah, those are the people that keep me going. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Vic Bits, I don't know what problem you were talking about there, what problem I was referencing, but yeah. My body's just extremely sensitive to food, to sleep, to exercise, to everything. So I kind of live a very controlled life when it comes to that, you know? Here we go. All right. So, okay, my first question. Hey, yes. In fact, one is coming up pretty soon. So if it's something that you're interested in, all of my contacts are in the description. I don't need to say anything else. Just hit me up and be like, hey, this is what I'm interested in, you know. And that, oh heck yeah, that PayPal is spelt right. What are you talking about? 1 second. Hold on. What are you talking about? Where's that at? Yes, that's my email. Oh, no, it's not. My bad. I'm tired. I told you I was tired. Stop messing with me. Nah, that's not. Hold on 1 second. My bad. I don't know how I did that. I didn't copy. Did I copy and paste that? I know I didn't copy and paste that. Hold on 1 second. No, it was not spelt right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Brother is tired. Hold on 1 second. Oh, you could do it that way too, but nah, I'm good. So yeah, okay, I'll give you 2 ways, right? So here's one way. Here's one way that you could do PayPal, right? Watch this. This is pretty cool, actually, what I'm going to put on the screen. Okay, so here we go. All right, so check this out, right? That's one way that you can do the PayPal. The link is in the chat, right? Hey, Kabet, you showed up. Thought you forgot about me, bruh. That's all right. Here we go. Let me see. So that's one way. Another way is where's my oh wow, I don't even have that up. I wonder why. Like there's always one thing that didn't get done that should have been done like a long time ago. Like why isn't that up there? So anyway, I'm just gonna put it right here. I'm not gonna even trip. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nehem, as we say in Eden Kemet, the speech of Kemet. All right. So this is going to be done correctly once and for all. Boom. There you go. All right. Man, I can't believe I misspelled that for PayPal. I'm like, somebody's tired. I don't know why. Let's see. I didn't get up extra early today or anything. I don't know what happened. I think I just got a little bit disappointed and a little let down that by the time I was ready to go live, it was like midnight. But for some reason, it may have something to do with all the years that I managed nightclubs and did bodyguard work, and my circadian rhythm got stuck in that, so that at midnight is when I normally feel like alive, like ready to go, like what's up, what are we doing? And that's just stuck with me throughout the years. So, but now I'm in this weird place where my body's kind of getting back on, because I've been fighting for it to get back on a normal, like waking up with the sun kind of thing. And that's very antithetical to my life, but I think it's worth fighting for. But people don't realize, one thing people don't realize, they don't realize how serious sleep is an issue for some people. Like when it really comes right down to it, and I always have to remind this to people, Michael Jackson lost his life over trying to get proper sleep. That's how serious it is. It's very serious. Like there have been times when I wanted to come on and do a live, but I wouldn't do a live because I was scared I would fall asleep in the middle of the broadcast. And there have been times when I have fallen asleep in the middle of the broadcast, and I always wondered, did anybody notice it? Did anybody notice that I literally fell asleep and I nodded off for a second? I don't know, you know? But, and that's not something that you want people to see, but it's like that, you know? Sometimes it's really, really bad. So, sometimes I just can't turn my mind off. And for creatives, it's very much like that. When you can't turn your mind off. Although lately I've been getting better at it. Like I just been forcing myself. I lay down and I just want to. All right, so for KEMETVILLE, there's a monologue that I have reserved for myself that I'm planning on performing, and it's not an easy monologue. I have to learn a lot of lines, a lot, and for the web series, I don't plan on being in front of the camera a lot. You may see me every so often or every now and then. But there is one monologue that I have to get off of I have to get out of my system and off of my chest. And I kind of want to open the web series with it. So what I do is I just run over the lines in my mind that when I'm falling asleep. And if I do it long enough, I'll get tired enough and I'll fall asleep. So that's that. Let's see. I did work out today. Let me see here. So that was funny. He said that page about spelt right. And the way he spelt was funny. Right. So but yes, I will be doing a casting call for KEMETVILLE. Absolutely. In fact, there will always be casting calls for KEMETVILLE, because what I want KEMETVILLE to be is I want KEMETVILLE. I had to get the shirt in the shot, right? I want KEMETVILLE to kind of like be a way station for all Black actors and actresses who don't have to kiss Hollywood's ass to be a part of something really special, you know, something that matters to us. And so I just want I want a constant flow of new actors always coming through, always, you know, contributing their presence to the platform, to the web series. So I want actors who Hollywood has turned their back on. I want Black actors who, for whatever reason, weren't, you know, like it would, like for me to have on KEMETVILLE, I don't want to say names because I have every intention of trying to get them, but I want to surprise people. But if I could get Vivica Fox, like that. If I could get Isaiah Washington, like that. Like there are great Black actors and actresses who never really got their due. Why do I say Vivica Fox? Let me just say that. Let me just say something. One thing I can't stand, and this might just be because of me, two things I can't stand. The idea of unsung heroes, because people deserve their flowers, especially while they're alive. So I don't like the idea of unsung heroes. Shout out to Dedan Kamati of the Mau Mau, another unsung hero. But, and the other two that I hate are haters. The other one that I hate is haters. Those two things, haters and unsung heroes. So if you want to see one of the dopest scenes, action scenes in an action film, Kill Bill, I think it was part 2, where whatever her name is, the blonde in the yellow suit, the main actress for the film, when she goes to Vivica Fox's home and Vivica Fox, her daughter is there, and they send the daughter out the room so they could fight. That is one of the dopest action scenes, male or female, in the history of action films. And Vivica Fox was never given her flowers for that. And I'm just like, you know, we watched Scarlett Johansson run around the screen as the Black Widow, but Vivica Fox did her thing. Why wasn't she celebrated for that? You know, where were the awards for that? So yeah, I would love to have someone like a Vivica Fox on, because I think people like that haven't had the opportunity to really show their best. They haven't, because Hollywood wasn't trying to really give them that opportunity, right? So that's why KEMETVILLE is structured in such a way that real actors can come through and show people what real acting looks like without having to do a whole lot, you know? All you got to do is dress for the part, come stand, learn a few lines, and just deliver it. And that's it, you know? That's it. So, and other people, rappers, you know? Like, I really want people to be surprised at who they see on KEMETVILLE in scenes acting out what the platform is there for. So yeah. How tall am I? I am 6'3". That's how tall I am. I'm 6'3", and I am about 225 pounds. Mostly lean muscle. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. That's true. That's true. I agree with that. The only reason I have 19,000 is because they're talking about my subscribers. So the only reason I have 19,000 because people capitalize off of putting good creative content on their channel instead of having you make your own early on, kind of like with musicians. No, that's very true. That's why people still talk about. Oh, I'm going to be talking about that. Why I will no longer be appearing on that platform, but on a particular platform. Just to let you guys to know what tomorrow is going to be about. Let me show y'all this now so y'all don't miss out. Okay. So let me put this here. Present. Oh, I can just put this right here. All right, cool. So I'm gonna share my screen. Select window, entire screen. Allow, and here you go. So this is tomorrow at 3 p.m. I will be I hate when this does this. Hold on one second, people. Trying to make this thing disappear, but that's okay. It doesn't want to. So yes, the Black Church and their apologists, an anti-Black racist satanic cult. Pastor Bennett as an example. This is what tomorrow's presentation will be about. I did a presentation on a House of Consciousness. I had to name the platform because that's where it took place. And it was about a month ago. And something happened that I really want to talk about because it made me think about a lot of things. Now, part of the reason I didn't do this earlier, like right after it happened, because when I did this presentation, I was really aggressive. I was in an aggressive state, a very aggressive state. And after I did it and I mellowed out some, I kind of wondered, should I do this presentation? Will it do more harm than good? Will it harm me more? I mean, just even creating this imagery was psychologically uncomfortable for me. But I wanted to stay in a place of truth. And so I completed this slide, this representative slide of what the presentation is going to be about. And that's because when I really think about it, hold on a second. Because truthfully speaking, I don't know what you guys are seeing. I forgot to check. Okay, cool. All right, so let me go back. Let me come back here. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do is I forgot to do this in the studio, people. I'm gonna come here, right there. I'm gonna put myself there, right? So, and then I'm gonna come back here. I know it's looking crazy, but bear with me. Here we go. So, so yeah, this is tomorrow's presentation. The Black Church and their Apologists, an anti-Black racist satanic cult. And the reason why I called it that is because after what happened at that last exchange / conversation that I had about a month ago, it really made me think a lot about the Black church and what it really represents and what it's really about. And when I think, people really don't understand how I try to push my thinking. I always try to push my thinking to the edge so I can really encompass the totality of what something is. And in order to be able to do that, you have to have a very panoramic view, a very comprehensive view of the thing that you're talking about. And you can't do that with a partial perspective or with a partially informed perspective. My perspective about the Black church, about Christianity in general, is extremely informed. So much so that I have to really stop and take my time to articulate what it is that I want to say, how it should be said. Right? Because that's very important. How you say something, how you structure what it is that you want to say is just as important in saying what it is that you want to say. Because if you take the time to structure it right, you can really change a life. You may even save a life. You can help people with their decision-making process, because at the end of the day, my goal is always to help people to see things clearer or see things as they are, as it impacts them. Right? I don't think that people need to have everything made clear to them, that things that are personal about people, right? So, like, my attack on Pastor Bennett in this presentation is not about his personal life, because I don't know anything about his personal life, and I shouldn't. It's none of my business, right? My attack on Pastor Bennett is strictly within the confines and the context of our debating. Okay? So, and if people can't leave their insults to the topic at hand and they add hominem attacks to the topic at hand, they don't need to be debating. They don't need to be debating. You need to be out in the street with your hands up, ready to throw hands. Right? And I personally don't see any reason for that if you ain't getting paid for it. You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted y'all to just see that, so that you can understand what tomorrow is going to be about at 3 p.m. So hopefully you will all be there. I want to give you time to go to church, have the pastor lie to you some more, have the apostles lie to you some more, and the bishops lie to you some more, right? Who else? The reverends and the priests lie to you some more. And the choir, have the choir lie to you some more, right? And the elders, right? Have them lie to you some more. Everybody in the church, have them all lie to you. And then when you're done, I want you to come hear what I have to say at 3 o'clock and see what I'm going to show you. Okay? Very important. What the heck was that just flew behind me on camera? I don't know what that was. All right, so let's see here. I was never making jewelry. I was selling the Usex. I no longer sell them. King Rock. I no longer sell them. Yeah, I was doing that. I was selling the Usex on my website. I no longer do that. Who knows? I may return to it though, because I love them and I love to see people with them, right? Let's see here. Hotep, Tava Hotep Asar. Oh, that joint. Oh yeah, that's a hot joint. Yo, that song, that's a hot song. It really is. What's the name of that song? Oh yeah, The Greatest Thing. Yeah, that's a pretty hot song. It sure enough is. But that was really a hot song. I should do another video for it. I probably will. Right? In fact, I plan on doing new videos for all of my older songs that I took offline. I'll put them back on. Most of that, however, the rap stuff will be available on my Patreon only. That's for like fans that really, really like that work that I put in. You know what I'm saying? So very important, very important. Hit the like button, y'all. I need live followers, you know, people who really about that life, making this work, right? Okay. I hear you, Vic. Glad you took the time to do that. Okay. I'm wondering where all the questions are. Okay. Hey, up. KEMETVILLE needs you. Hey, I appreciate that very much, so Ka'abet. KEMETVILLE needs you, and it's very true. KEMETVILLE does need you. Hell, KEMETVILLE, I need you. But no, KEMETVILLE definitely needs you. So I haven't started the official fundraising for it yet, but I will. I'm probably going to be doing Kickstarter. If not Kickstarter, the plan is really to do all of them, just to see which ones work the best, how they were, just for the experience. Even GoFundMe, all of them. I forgot the names of the other ones, but I'm going to be doing them too. So it's just a question of which ones first. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. So a lot, like more than you can imagine. So I've already got the producer who's going to be producing it, as far as filming it. And that's something that I'm really, really psyched about. So this is a lot. I'm preparing the products. I had to put together like 3 books that are going to be sold during the crowdfunding, right? So because you have to have giveaways and things like that. So yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it is hard to sleep because of overthinking. Absolutely. No question about it. Oh, yeah. Uma Thurman. That's her name. Thank you for CC. Uma Thurman. Absolutely. Yeah, but Vivica Fox killed that. She killed that. And it always bothered me that she was never really celebrated for that. You know, people talk about the other dumb stuff about her life that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, I don't care who she was dating and whether it worked out or not, or if she made a good choice. I don't get into people's personal lives, you know? I mean, my own personal life is challenging enough for me to digest and process and live, you know? Life on planet Earth in your own personal life is hard enough without digging into other people's personals. That's just how I feel about it. You know, I don't judge people for personal things unless you've harmed somebody. If you've harmed somebody, especially if you harm somebody intentionally, I don't trip on people. If somebody harms somebody, that people harm people. It's part of life. It's not always intentional. Sometimes it's because of choices that we make. Someone gets the short end of the stick and someone gets harmed. Or it might be because of just poor judgment or lapse of judgment. We all make stupid, poor decisions and use poor judgment. And I think that that's throughout your whole life. People act like you're supposed to get to a point in your life where that stops. No, that's not real life. Real life, you will always make stupid decisions. You will always use poor judgment. Always. The hope and the trick is that you will lessen it appreciably over time and that you will learn, because there are going to be new mistakes. And there are going to be new lapses of judgment and new lapses of, because it's part of the human condition. Right? So when I meet people who speak to other people like, oh, you're supposed to be here, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. No, that's not real life. You know, that's not real life. So anyway, yeah. When you put the mail in the coffin a minute, now you just do it. He said you already put the nail in the coffin and Bennett, now you just doing overkill. That's a Gemini move. Kendrick doing the same thing. Shout out to Geminis. I appreciate that, but I really do. I genuinely do. However, there were some things that took place that people don't know about, that they need to know about, that need to be highlighted. I'll say it again. There were some things that took place in that exchange that I cannot just walk away from. There was too much rich examples to hold out front for people on a historical level so that people could be like, this is a game changer. This is a sea change. What Shaka just showed here cannot be unseen or unforgotten. And we don't always have rare opportunities to connect dots and put pieces together in such a way that we can really exhibit a picture and an image that can really impact people in moving them along, or even in shoring them up in what it is they believe they already know. Because sometimes, even when it comes to things that we believe that we already know, life has a way of making us question those things. It has a way of shaking us. And so constant reinforcement, constant undergirding, right? These things matter. Constant reassurance, these things matter. They matter. They do, right? So, hey, Black Ice, good to see you still up and around. That's what's up. That Black Ice TV7, let me know. Absolutely. So, folks, I'm here. Hey, Felicia, right? Welcome. So I'm here. I'm like, I rarely do Q&As. I'm like, where are the questions? Like, nobody's got questions. Are you serious? I said, watch that happen. I said, watch me come and do a Q&A and ain't gonna be no Q's. So I'm getting comfortable for the Q&As. Yes, I am. Here we go. So let's see what's going on here. I'm waiting for a Q&A. Black Ice, it's an honor. It's an honor myself. Absolutely. I am waiting for a Q&A. But until I get a question that people want to know the answer to, or that someone wants to know the answer to, I will just continue to, let me leave my KEMETVILLE moniker in the screen. That tomorrow's presentation is important because there were things that happened behind the scenes that people need to know about and they need to see, because these cult members, see, here's my issue with cult members, whether they're Christians, whether they're Jewish, whether they're Muslim, whatever, Kemetic, right? My problem with cult members is I can't stand self-righteous moral indignation from I just can't stand self-righteous moral indignation. That's all. If you've got a point, or if the point is strong enough, it'll stand on its own merit. It doesn't really need your help. but to stand back and like one thing I don't do, or that I try to refrain from doing, I try to refrain from judging people. Listen to what I say. I try to refrain from judging people. But just because I'm not judging you as a person doesn't mean I can't use your behavior and your actions as an example to illustrate something. If it fits the bill, that's something I will do in a heartbeat. If teaching can take place because of it, and if learning can happen because of it, oh, no question about it. No question about it. Everything is fair game. I will not, when I say everything, meaning that as it pertains to the topic. Like I said, I don't get into people's personal lives. You know, I don't. And I can't stand when people do that. People try to dig around in people's personal lives to see what dirt they've done, who they wronged, what kind of low person they actually are. One thing I've learned about life and about being human, we all have good and we all have evil, and we have all delved on both sides. Some people are some people may or may not have what it takes to recover from that, or to balance it out in their lives, or to subjugate one to the other, because I don't think you can ever vanquish it. We're not wired that way. We're not wired to be only one thing, right? We're wired to be both. And so because of that, the society in which we live does not equip us to navigate that in a constructive way. And so because of that, there are times in our lives when we go way left, uber left, when we should have went right. And because I know I have gone left probably more than most people, because I've had opportunities to. So because I've had opportunities to go left more than the average person throughout my life, just in general, I don't judge people. You know, I leave that up to other people. If you are so fly that you can sit there and judge somebody, that it doesn't mean I don't have my preferences. When I see the NFL players at this new thing they just had, and all of their wives were white, it's like, do I have an opinion? Of course. Do I think that that's destructive and harmful to the black community? Yes. No less so than white female athletes like Serena Williams doing that, or rappers like Eve doing that, or people like Candace Williams doing that. Yeah, you know, I have my opinion, but I can have an opinion about it, but it doesn't mean that I can judge the person. You understand what I'm saying? I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not a Christian by any stretch of the term. But there are sayings and principles in the Bible that I agree with and that I like. And one of them is remove the mote from your own eye before you point out the splinter in someone else's. And nobody bothers with removing the mote from their eye. They just sit there and point out the splinter in everybody else's eye. And I'm like, I'm not with that. I'm too imperfect. I am too imperfect to be sitting around pointing the finger at anybody. You know? So, that said, it still doesn't stop me from learning, or wanting to learn and wanting to teach people and share with people what I've learned, because someone else may benefit from it. And so, in that context, what happened in that exchange behind the scenes, I had a discussion with a pastor. It wasn't with Pastor Bennett. For those of you who don't know him, he's a Christian apologist and a pastor. I had a conversation with another pastor by the name of Reverend Charles, and a pastor from Memphis, Tennessee. And anybody that watched the program will see I ate the pastor alive, right? But I respected him because, one, he subjected himself to my course examination, and he had to really sit in the hot seat because I was pulling out nothing but receipts. And that must not have been an easy thing for him to subject himself to when he was unaware of the fact that I was going to do that. But as I always tell people, I'm a receipts kind of person. I'm not going to talk about it if I can't document it and can't prove it at a moment's notice. And that's exactly what I did. And I did it because I know how apologists think. And I said, I already know his talking points. I know what he's going to say. And literally, for everything he said, I had a PowerPoint slide ready to address it. And that's exactly what I did. He kept bringing up Martin Luther King and Carter G. Woodson and so on and so on. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what they say. And when I went to the documentation, he couldn't respond to the documentation. Okay? But yet he did respond to the documentation. And his responses, while they didn't hold any water, it was just the usual Southern Christian clergy charismatic intonation in the response to make you think they're saying something, because the way that they talk is attuned to hypnotize you, particularly to their audience. So any churchgoers watching are accustomed to pastors speaking in a certain intonation, and they learn that it's something that's taught, right? It's something that's taught. It's why they all sound the same way when they speak. They don't sound like that before they go through the program. They sound like that after they come through the program. They all speak the same way. It's like the Nation of Islam. Most people, when you listen to the Nation, you ever wonder why they sound like they're carbon copy of it's strange to me. It's weird. It's cult. It's a cult. That's how you know it's a cult. You don't see any individuals. Okay? You don't see any individuals. So it's like a hive mentality. Let's see. Okay. Here's a question. My first question. What are some qualities a good wife must possess? What are some qualities a good wife must possess? There are not many. There are not many qualities she must possess. There are few, but the few qualities for her to meet the criteria of a good wife, they have to be met. And so the first one above all is loyalty. That's the first one above all. Minus loyalty, nothing else she says or does matters. So loyalty above all. And let me go back, because I think there was an even better. Let me put that back on the screen. What are some qualities a good wife must possess? One of the first qualities, before even loyalty, one of the first qualities a good wife must possess is knowing how to pick a good husband. That's above all other qualities. Knowing how to pick a good husband. Because that husband, eventually, if things are going in a consecutive order, is going to be the father of her children. And you subject the children to what you choose in a husband. Right? You subject the children to the father that you choose as a husband. And so the first quality of a good wife is choosing a good husband. And In order for her to exercise that quality and to meet that criteria where you are concerned, you must be a good husband. And I'm going to be talking about that in future episodes because the Black community has very serious problems and very serious challenges that no one thinks are important enough to discuss or talk about. Everybody's fine with just the way things are. And that's the truth. As long as the same people who are getting money just keep getting money, they good. They don't want shit to change. And that goes for all your Black celebrities, all the Black folks with great income and great influence. They don't want shit to change. They want everything to stay exactly as it is because that's where their status comes from. Their status comes from things being the way they are. The problem is that things being the way that they are doesn't serve us in a meaningful way. Really not to any extent. So we keep producing the same results in our communities, in our families, in our streets. Ain't nobody breaking generational curses. Bigger zeros on your checks is not breaking generational curses. It's not. If more zeros on checks was breaking generational curses, the Black community at large would look very different throughout this country because there's a lot of Black people getting money, been getting money. Hell, Oprah and Tyler Perry alone. So getting more zeros on your checks doesn't break generational curses. Generational curses of which the Black community is exceedingly burdened with. Generational curses can only be broken by generational solutions. They can only be broken by generational solutions. Larger zeros on your check can be a byproduct of generational solutions. It can be. It can be a byproduct. It doesn't mean it's the solution. If you don't know the difference between a byproduct and the thing itself, then you need to be in another conversation, right? So, some of the qualities of a good wife must possess. First, she has to have the insight to know how to choose a good husband. Now, I can tell you right now, most women don't possess that. I'm just telling you, they don't. They know it. They'll tell you that they don't. Right? Why? Because I don't want to say it, and I want to save it for a future episode, but I'm just going to say it now. I'm not even going to wait. I want everybody listening to pay attention because I'm going to say something important. I was going to save it for a particular presentation, and perhaps I'll revisit it in another presentation. But I'm about to drop some truth bombs on you. Okay? All right. The Black community, whatever that is, whatever you perceive that to be, the Black community has no leaders. Listen to what I'm telling you. The Black community has no leaders. And because there is no such thing as absolutes, we then have to factor in the leaders that we do have. The leaders that we do have are competent only to a certain point. After they get to a certain point, they have to defer to our traditional tormentors because they can't handle it up at that altitude. So again, for the most part, the black community has no leaders. Because you have no leaders, you have no institutions, either familial or in general. You have no institutions. The two institutions that you do have were never really yours. That's HBCUs and the church. Those are the two institutions that the black community can claim. You have no army to claim, no military. You have no police force to claim. You don't even have your own educational institutions to claim. I don't care what you think, how black you think of. I watched a news program today about a black professor, female, who committed suicide. I forget the name of the university. It was recent. The black female professor who committed suicide because she felt that the president of the university was bullying her and giving her a hard time and undermining her. Now, this is at an HBCU started by former slaves. When they showed the president of the university who is allegedly bullying this black female professor who unalived herself, he was a white man. This is a black HBCU. Well, that's what the HBCU is, black. So it's kind of redundant to say black one. There's no such thing as a white HBCU. Although this one could be a white HBCU because the president is white. So how is the head white and the body black? That alone speaks volumes. A white head and a black body. I don't think I have to say anything else. This is what I mean when I say you don't have your own institutions. Howard University was not named after a black man named Howard. It was named after a white man. Remember I told you earlier, it took me 7 years to come up with the name Facts Over Feelings. And everything I'm talking about has to do with a good wife. Watch how I bring it home. It took me 7 years to come up with the name Facts Over Feelings with SHAKKA-AHMOSE. Because I come from a culture that talks about the importance of names. And I was not going to settle on a name that wasn't really what I wanted my platform to be about. It took me 7 years to come up with that name. Facts Over Feelings with SHAKKA-AHMOSE. I said, that's the name of a platform I could stand by for a long period of time. Right? It can act as the center hub for everything else I have going on. So if I can wait 7 years for a name, you telling me they couldn't wait 70 years or 7 years, however many years, to find a black person to name a HBCU after? What kind of legacy are you leaving to your children? That's insane. What Jewish institution is named after a Christian person or a Muslim person? What Jewish institution? What Italian institution is named after a black person? What Asian institution is named after a white person? I don't know of any. Black people, see, y'all don't really understand how damaged this race is. And they're okay with the damage because they accept it. Not only do they accept it, but they normalize the trauma. They normalize the dysfunction and make it acceptable by rationalizing and providing excuses for what is unacceptable for all other people. You are the exception. And you are the exception for all of the wrong things. I'm just telling you the truth. Spelman. Who is Spelman College in the South? It's an HBCU. Who is Spelman? Somebody look that up. Let's see. Spelman College. I'm gonna look it up right now because I don't want to say something that's false. Here we go. Spelman College is a private, historically black woman liberal arts college in Atlanta, Georgia. Hold on. I just want to hold on 1 second because I don't want to repeat bad information. Here we go. Which is Massachusetts? Harry Giles in that packet. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Spelman College. I'm correct. I was correct. Spelman College is named after Rockefeller's wife, Laura Spelman. The Rockefellers. You know, the people responsible for eugenics, the people responsible for promoting white supremacy with the Nazis. Yeah. That's who Spelman College is named after. So here you got Spelman College named after Rockefeller's wife, Laura Spelman. You got Howard University named after a white man, right? Whatever his full name was, right? And then you got this other university, HBCU, where this black professor killed herself and the president is a white man. So you have no institutions that are your own. Okay? Understand what I'm telling you. They will give you a reason and a rationale as to why these HBCUs are named after these white people. They made contributions. They had the money. They were involved in abolition and all this other stuff. Right? My thing is that if they really respected you, they would have insisted that the institution be named after a black person. Why? Because in African tradition, everything is in the name. Everything. Everything is in the name. Okay? So, you don't have any institutions and you don't have any leaders. Because if you had leaders, they would not allow your institutions to be named after white people. The NAACP, founded by Joel Spingarn, Jewish man. You have no leaders and you have no institutions. As a race, we are orphaned. We are an orphan race. And we like to pretend that we're not. We try to cover up that orphanism with nice cars, nice homes in the right neighborhoods, and give our children the illusion of some kind of success because they can attend this school or this, that, and the third. It's a joke. It's a joke. Everybody's in on it but you. This is the truth. This is the truth. Now, why do I say this? In my opinion, and from my perspective, only because this makes sense to me, and I'm a thinking person. I look at it like this. In order to find a good wife, you would have to encounter a female who comes from a culture where the leaders of that culture, where the leaders in that community, or find a woman who comes from a community where the leaders in that community have institutions that teach her how to be a good wife, meaning it's part of her upbringing. It's part of her, it's part of her experience before she even gets there. How can you find a good wife in a culture when we all come from a community that doesn't take marriage seriously? It's silly to think of the concept of finding a good wife or even a good husband. It's silly. What husband-making institutions do we have in the Black community that trains men to be husbands on the way up, growing up? It's not supposed to start when you get there. That's supposed to start way back when. You're going to start practicing on being a good husband when you say I do, or what? You go watch a few films and you think that that's how you learn how to be a good husband? You watch what your friends do, your peer groups? Is that how you learn how to be a good husband? What good wife institutions does the Black community have that trains our females to be good wives? Why would you train your children to be something that you don't even value? Which explains why you don't have those mechanisms in your community to begin with, because you don't value these institutions. So why are you even talking about marriage? I have to take this off the screen because it can't be taken serious. A good wife. The first thing a good wife must possess is a community that trained her how to be a good wife. If she doesn't have that, don't waste your time. That's what I would tell you. Or consider that it's like shooting craps. You both might figure it out. But for Black people getting married, it's almost, and especially in Western culture, it's almost like we reinvent the wheel every 18 years. We are a retarded culture. We reinvent the wheel every 18 years. Yes, every 18 years, some new individual has to figure out how marriage works, what to do, what not to do, how to be, how to choose, all every 18 years. There's no progress as a community where marriage is evolving in such a way that it is a viable institution for everyone to go into. No, there's no way. Why? Because you only have two institutions, and they're both against you. The church and the HBCU, because these two things are connected. The church and the HBCU are connected. So how can we talk about finding a good wife? Would you expect to find a good martial artist who didn't go to martial arts school? Would you expect to find a good boxer who wasn't trained for years? and years and years? Would you expect to find a great chef who wasn't trained for years and years and years? So why would you expect to find a good wife who has no training in being a good wife? Where was she going to get the training? Name one institution in the Black community that trains Black women to be good wives. Name one. You can't. They don't exist. Nobody wants to talk to you truthfully about the Black community. It's a joke. People want to, if I told you what a sorry mess Black people really are, you wouldn't watch me anymore. Because you need the illusion. You need the illusion that we are a viable people. It's an illusion. I would say that we were running off of fumes, but we don't even have fumes. To have fumes, you got to have air for the fumes to travel in. We don't have air. We are completely suffocated. We are a people holding our breath 1,000 million leagues under the water, begging white folks to send us down some breathing apparatuses, some oxygen tanks. That's Black folks. That's the truth. It's not a pretty truth. Name one institution in the Black community that trains Black men to be good husbands. Don't tell me the Nation of Islam. Don't tell me that. How many families in the Black community do you know? Whole families that are members of the Nation of Islam? No. They got their women, they got their men. We don't know what the machinations of those relationships are. You got men and women in the church. Very few of them or none of them could be married to each other. They all just happen to attend the same church. And it's probably no different in the Nation of Islam. They all just happen to be members of the Nation of Islam. That doesn't mean that they have strong family ties or they have this structural thing where they're training good husbands. And no, it doesn't exist in the Black community. This is the truth of the matter. So you can't ask me that kind of question. What was the question? What are some qualities a good wife must possess? The first thing is she must be produced by a community that produces good wives. And that ain't us. That's not us in Chicago. That's not us in New York. That's not us in Florida. That's not us in California. It's not us in Texas or the DMV or Philly or Boston or Connecticut, wherever we are. That is not us. That's not us. It damn sure ain't us in Atlanta. It's not us in South Kakalaki, North Kakalaki, Jersey, or Vegas, wherever we are. That is not us. See, we got to start telling the truth about each other. We got to start telling the truth about the communities from which we come. The communities that we existed in. Because that's what we did. We existed in our communities. I'm not saying that there weren't efforts. There have always been efforts. I'm a product. You're looking at a product of great efforts. You are. You're looking at a product of great effort. The organizations that I grew up in, the many Black organizations that I grew up in, that I still take serious today, I still wear that mantle of obligation to these people who did the best that they could to produce a SHAKKA-AHMOSE. But I'm not delusional about our deficits, our real and true deficits. If I can't claim to care about us if I'm going to come here and lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. You can't talk about finding a good wife because you don't come from a community and a culture that trains women to be good wives. I saw a meme the other day. It said white women go to colleges to find husbands. Black women go to colleges to prove that they don't need husbands. Whether it's true or not, our state of affairs is such that whether it's true or not is not important. What does matter is that a statement like that can easily be applied to us. And I said us. I'm not just singling out our woman because of that meme, what the meme said. I'm saying that's what we produced or what we failed to produce and continue failing to produce. We fell in love with singular ambition. Singular ambition, if you understand arcs and the way an arc works, singular ambition is an illusion. It's an illusion that has a set aside for rare and few persons. And when you have all of the average seeking the singular ambition, and this is what Kevin Samuels was trying to explain to people. The average is where our salvation lies. It's not in the supermen amongst us or the superwoman amongst us. That is not where our salvation lies, because all of us are not superwomen and all of us are not supermen. So if you're concerned about the welfare of the race, of the communities, that is a collective concern. That means you have to be concerned with the average, which means that our average we have to fall in love with our average. Our average has to be special to us. You understand? See, y'all didn't really get what the brother was saying. Maybe it's because he wasn't articulating it in a way that was understandable and digestible to you. But I'm saying these things to you so that you can understand what's really going on. How can your churches produce good husbands when the heads of those churches usually turn out to be the scum of the earth? I don't want to say the scum of the earth. That's wrong. They usually turn out to be very faulty human beings who were living who were deluding themselves so that they had to play a role and play a part that wasn't really them. They have to play the role of the part of a holy man or of somebody who carries the grace of God with them. And maybe they do. You know, I always say, just because somebody's imperfect and just because somebody may get caught up in their own iniquity, it doesn't mean that they're not divinely touched. You're just getting to witness them in the midst of their struggles. And their struggles might be infidelity. Their struggles might be some sexual perversion or whatever it might be. I don't know. But the human condition is not going to stop to make you happy. The human condition is not going to stop to make anyone happy, right? And so if that's the case, then one thing or the other has to happen. Either, let me turn around and say this. Now you're getting Shakka. This is SHAKKA-AHMOSE, right? One of two things has to happen. Either people have to stop bullshitting themselves and their followers about who and what they are, right? Or we just begin to embrace reality and make sure that the doctrines that we produce, make sure that the how can I put it? Make sure that the worldviews that we espouse are commensurate with reality and grounded in nature. Because when you are purporting to represent the supernatural, you have to be super yourself. And for you to discover that you're not super, means that there's an inconsistency behind what you're preaching in the pulpit, right? Or from the podium or in the mosque, wherever you are, right? There's an inconsistency behind what you're saying and what you're living. And that's not mine, right? I can't come before anyone telling them that I'm a holy man, or I tell people exactly what I am. I am a research specialist, independent, and I'm a bad motherfucker when it comes to it. A legendary. Like, people literally call me a legend in these streets. They come up to my face like, yo, nigga, do you know you're a legend? Like, yeah, I love hearing that. It makes me feel like I didn't waste my time. I did my homework, and I appreciate that. But I'm not going to stand before you and tell you that I'm some I don't even want to use the word role model, or I think you could be a role model without being perfect. I think you could be, you can teach. I like what Dr. Clark used to say. Dr. Clark used to always say, Dr. John Henry Clark used to always say, black people are going to lose the war because they need for their leaders to be perfect. White people don't need that. They don't even care. Look how many white folks follow Trump. And this is somebody who was talking about grabbing women by the pussy, convicted of sexual assault, you name it. This guy did it. And they still, white evangelicals still see him as divinely touched. White people, with that kind of mentality, white people will always kick your ass. They got an ace up their sleeve you can't even smell. What is that ace? They don't give a fuck. That's it. I'm not saying that you should not care about your leaders and their iniquities or their human infallibilities. The infallibilities have to be expected, and there have to be fail-safes and checks and balances put in place so that when the infallibilities come about, they don't harm the institutions and harm the other members of the society and of the community. That's all. But we don't think on a mature level. We don't. And part of the reason that we don't think on a mature level as a race is, as black people in America, let me tell you something about black people in America. Black people in America are children. Don't let nobody lie to you. Black people in America are children. Why do I say that? I don't care how old they are. It could be 104. They're still children. They're children because they were raised by whites in this country. The whites in this country are the parents. They are the adopted parents of the black race in this country. What language do we speak? What religion do most of us have? What kind of diet do most of us have? What did Frantz Fanon say? White skin, black mask, or black skin, white face, or whatever. Black, white mask, black skin, white mask, right? But you understand what I'm saying. I like the way Neely Fuller Jr. said it better. Said every black person you meet in America is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Anglo-Saxon on the inside. That's the truth. Even when they street, even when they try to, I'm a thug, I'm a gangster. You thinking you acting black? That ain't nothing black about that. Ain't nothing African about that. I'm not saying it's un-African. I'm just saying that doesn't determine your racial ethos, your racial pedigree. Black people in America are not really concerned with their racial pedigree. Black people in America are more concerned with singular ambition. And I understand that what I'm saying. I'm going ham. I'm going ham, Shem, and Japheth. Right? But these are the things. Kwame Stevens is paying attention. Yes. Yes. Evolutionary mismatch perspective. Or not the theory. It's an evolutionary mismatch perspective. EMP. So this is partly true as well. This is partly true as well. The men aren't leading, and that's true. That's partly true. But I can tell you that in order for the black race in America to really be saved in mass, this is my opinion, my perspective, which I don't often share. I like to stick to facts that I can document. In my opinion, from my perspective, in order for, if there is any saving for the black race, what makes you think we can be saved, right? But if there is, as in all other cases where such dramatic things have to come about, there has to be a war. There has to be a war within the black community. I mean, a real war. You know, it doesn't mean that there has to be bloodshed. It doesn't mean that there has to be people being physically harmed, but there has to be a war. And that war has to be against those who have undermined the restoration of black people being restored to themselves. See, that part of the process was never fully accomplished. There's been a lot of work in that direction. Dr. John Henry Clark, Francis Cress Wilson, the ISIS papers, Dr. Joseph Ben-Yakinen, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Patricia Newton, Charles C. McIntyre, Edward Scobie, Professor James Small, Professor Walter Williams, Dr. Jewel Pookrum. All of these are people who have tried to restore us. Kwame Nkrumah, Marcus Garvey, Du Bois, who else? Kwame Ture, Mumia Abu-Jamal. The list goes on, right? Even brothers like the attorney, the Black Panther attorney. I already have a lot of respect for that brother. Shabazz, I forget his full name, but I watch him in these courtrooms defending these black people. I have so much respect for him. And for the other black attorney, I forgot Crump, I think his name is. Like, these are all people that have tried to keep us whole and keep us together, but it's like trying to put Band-Aids on a ship that's out in sea in rough water and it's going down, and you're trying to take an ace bandage and cover up a hole. That's black people. Let me give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. When I say black people are children, right? See, this is what, but hold on, right? That's irrelevant. The fact that Samuel wasn't married is irrelevant. But look, watch this. How could he be married? He came from a community that does not, that's the whole point I'm making. How could Kevin Samuels be married if he comes from a community that does not train women to be good wives? Why do you think he was so passionate about what he did in the first place? This is the part that I'm talking about. When people get, they don't understand. When somebody's coming with a solution for you, don't expect to look and see the solution on that person. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. right? Let's just say you're starving in a desert or you're dying of thirst in a desert, right? Let's just say you're dying of thirst in a desert and you got maybe 2 steps left in you and you're dead. There are people who literally have experienced this. And let's say you look over the hill one last time and you see one of your homies running towards you saying, there's water over here. There's a lot of water. There's a river over here, fresh water. Do you care if do you have to see water on him to believe that he has a solution? Do you have to see the water dripping down out of his mouth to think that there's water over there? Or are you going to be a fool and stay over there and starve and die of thirst and dehydration? This is what I'm talking about. It didn't matter if Kevin Samuels was married or not, or had kids or not, or was a good family man. None of that shit mattered. Do white people care if Donald Trump is a good man to it? This is exactly, thank you for saying that dumb shit. Bow Bow, you know you my man, Bow Bow, but I'm going to still call you out. Thank you for pointing out that dumb shit that didn't have anything to do with nothing. So what Kevin Samuels did? He was trying to point out something to you. You got all these black women out here pining for a husband, pining for a man, not understanding how to fix her own problem. The problem is in your community. So if the problem is in your community, you expect somebody from outside the community to come in and fix it? No. I like what somebody said there earlier. Black men aren't leading. Where's that comment at? That was very important. Right? That's very true. Very true. Dave G, you've been on point tonight, bro. Yes. This is very true. Dave G, you throwing all outs. Absolutely. Okay. All right, most of them aren't raised that way in America, bro. You got to find a foreign joint that's not Americanized. What you don't understand is that Americanism is an ideology, and that ideology has been exported. It's a global ideology. You know, you think, look, don't fall for the illusion that Passport Brothers are telling you that they're going to these foreign lands and finding these great wives. It happens for some. It does. I know, because I know a few that have happened. I knew Passport Brothers before there was an internet. Before the internet existed, I knew Passport Brothers. Brothers I used to run with who would move to places like Thailand and Brazil and come back, and they would try to convince me, Shaka, you gotta come, bro. They would love you. You be a king over there. Come. I'm like, nah, bro. This is where our war started. I came into I look at it like this. Nature puts us where she wants us in the fight. If nature wanted me to come into the fight in Zimbabwe, I would have been born in Zimbabwe, and that's where the fight has to be carried out. Why do I think that way? Because I look at somebody like a Stephen Biko. Stephen Biko could have left South Africa. He was smart enough to leave South Africa and do whatever, but he didn't. Nature put him in Natal, right, in South Africa, where he was to fight for his people in Soweto and the other slums and all that stuff. That's where nature put you to fight. So that's where you make your stand. That's where you fight, right? Because what's going to end up happening is that, I look at it like this. There are a lot of conflicting forces that pull on all of us. One of the forces is, am I obligated to my people, or is my first obligation to myself? It all depends on where you live. It all depends on where you live. See, people think that these are universal things. They're not. In America, because black folks, their only goal in life is to be equal with white folks, They are addicted. Black folks in America are addicted to singular ambition. Let me see what I know, because I'm a victim of it. I know that. Victim of it, practitioner of it, however you want to say it. But it certainly defines my life. No question about it. And I accept that. Right? But just because I accept something that is true about my life doesn't mean that I can't critique it or see the detriment in it and see it for what it is. You understand? You still want to be able to call something what it is, right? Even if you happen to be living or doing whatever. So for those of you who want to express your appreciation, my Cash App is at the top of the chat. I appreciate it very much so. It's very welcome and appreciated. So, of course, no question about it. No question about it. Of course. You know, on the black males in the in the church, in the black church, they're very much into the whole Masonic thing and all of that stuff. I told you, their whole thing is to be equivalent with white folk. White folk, for black people in America, white folk represent the epitome of success. They are the personification of success. Yes. We define, many black people marry white people because to them, they have arrived. That's just the truth of the matter. They don't marry them because they love them. That if you believe that shit, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen. Sometimes you'll see a black woman who married a white man, and she really loves him because they have a bond or something. Or you'll see a black man who married a white woman. These individuals, as individuals, they love each other. Okay, that happens. It's been happening since the beginning of time. Well, there wasn't no white folks around at the beginning of time. So, but it's been happening ever since racial differentiation, right? It's been happening. So, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the overriding value system of the society in which we live that produces us. We come out of a capitalistic society, which means inside of all of us is a little capitalist. And sometimes that capitalist rears his or her head just a bit louder and a bit higher in some of us than it does in others of us. And sometimes when it rears its head really high, those of us who see it for what it is, we ain't supposed to say shit. You're supposed to sit back, set up, mind your business, keep your mouth shut, live your life, and that's it. Don't say nothing. I might say something if I feel like it and dare you to do something about it. Or I might not say anything at all because it's not going to solve anything, right? So no, Bob. There wasn't a Martin Luther King University in Germany. It was Martin Luther University, named after Martin Luther, the man who Martin Luther King was named after. Okay, hold on 1 second. Yes, Rockefeller funded Spelman, absolutely, and named it after his white wife. He also funded eugenics. What they say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Right? So, but I'm saying is to say that the most important thing that you need to understand is that black people have no institutions and they have no leaders. And their favorite pastime is pretending that we do, that we have both. That is their favorite pastime. They'll get dressed up for it. Black people love a reason to get dressed up. Wear this new suit, wear this new outfit. I get to drive around and look like I got it all together and feel good about myself. It's all a fucking illusion. But that's cool. Everybody needs some sort of illusion, I guess. Right? Some need it more than others. Right? But if we just having between you and me and nobody else is listening, Black people have no leaders and they have no institutions. Now, I would venture to say that the Africans among us have had true leadership. When I say the Africans amongst us have had true leadership, that's what the whole Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Francis Cress Wilson, Ivan Van Sertima, Sheikh Anta Diop, that whole Du Bois, Garvey, that whole intelligentsia was about restoring what has still yet to be fully restored. It was about restoring, right? And there are people that they produced, who they impacted and who they affected, who did become leaders for us. They did become leaders for us. Carter G. Woodson is one of them. Carter G. Woodson, you wouldn't have a Black History Month if it wasn't for Carter G. Woodson. And you have a Black History Month because of Carter G. Woodson, because he created Black History Week. He created Black History Week because he was moved by what Du Bois did at Harvard. So leadership is going to be doing two things simultaneously for the most part. They're going to impact you here, and they're going to impact you here. Those are the two places. Our leadership has been able to impact us here. They have not been able to impact us here because of the nature of the system in which we reside. Because of the nature of the system in which we reside, meaning that these two things have to remain separate. So wherever you find a serious Black ideology, I'm talking about a serious Black ideology, not the surface stuff, right? Wherever you find a serious Black ideology, no money can be next to it. No real true money can be next to it. No true wealth can be next to it, because the white establishment sees that as a true and credible threat. Okay? That's, believe me, ask Jimi Hendrix, ask Harry Belafonte, ask all different kinds, ask Danny Glover, people who are blacklisted or whitelisted from Hollywood, for trying to put those two things together, a serious Black ideology with some serious wealth. It's a threat, too much of a threat. So, but when you talk about finding a good wife, you find a good wife in a community that has institutions put in place that trains their females to be good wives. It didn't mean that they're incapable of doing anything else. Doesn't mean that they're incapable of having a varied dimensional life. It just means that when it comes to being a wife, they know what they're doing. It's never been a question. That road has already been mapped out for them. The formula is already there. So that it kind of frees them up to put the rest of their life in order, because they don't have to figure this part out. That part is already a given. It's in the tradition. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. This is how we move. This is how we don't move. In the discussion, these things are determined before they even married, which is why the statistics show that arranged marriages last longer. Why? Because arranged marriages are not about romance and love. That's some American European bullshit, right? Well, to a degree. I can't they didn't come up with romance. They didn't come up with romantic marriages either. But however, it would be nice to put that on them, but I can't. So let me just. I wanted to really stress that point to you, that the Black community is really butt naked. It's vulnerable and it's butt naked. It really is, and it has been. There wasn't ever really a time where it wasn't. And the reason for that is that Black people in this country have never built a society. They've only built communities. And if you don't know the difference, Black Wall Street was not a society, it was a community. Okay? Rosewood was not a Black society, it was a Black community. And most of you don't know the difference between a community and a society because you weren't taught. Okay? So, yes, I will revisit that at some point. The Pentateuch, the switch, all of that. Yes, absolutely. I never had a ponytail. I had a side lock. And I miss it so much. I think about going it back every day. But I can't until September. Common Ninja. Who's Common Ninja? Someone that I have to address? Let's see here. Oh. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Dave G, you were really on point tonight. You really called it out. So the part where you said Black men aren't leading and Black males aren't leading, it's true. And that's where the war really has to take place. I think at the heart of it, at the heart of this problem with Black men, in my opinion, I think the Black church is at the heart of it, is at the heart of that problem. In my own personal opinion, the Black church is at the heart of that problem. But it's kind of I'm kind of hard on myself, so I have to be honest. I won't say the Black church is at the heart of it. I think the Black church plays an intangible or a tangible role in the issue and in the problem. But at the heart of it has to be Black men themselves, because that's the only way you're going to take your power back. You have to take full responsibility and full accountability for it, right? But if there are Black men in the Black church, then those Black men count as well, right? And maybe even more so because of what they are engaged in, right? What they are engaged in the Black church has a far-reaching impact throughout our communities intergenerationally. So you get these Black households that are full of shit based with the stuff that they learned from full of shit institutions like the Black church. So what kind of community do you think that's going to produce? A full of shit paper copy community trying to be like white folk. Black folk have endeavored to be carbon copy white folk in this country since. And then when you find Black folks that divorce that, they don't like those kind of Black folk until one of their children get killed by a white racist cop. Then they want to run to those kind of Black folk. If you ask me, I'm like, it's too late. I've always said, if I didn't see you out there marching with us, if I didn't see you out there, really repping for the community, don't tell me about what happened to your kid, because you didn't care when it was somebody else's, and when we were trying to tell you, so it's like Black folk who marry white and didn't want to come home. I was like, nah, you had your chance. That's, to me, that's a permanent decision, because marriage, it's supposed to be permanent. And if it's not, you know, you made your choice, Serena. Right? So this is how I look at it. But I'm not judging them as people. I'm not judging their choice. I'm just saying, I think that you're naming some names. Oh, that's a name definite right there that has to be named. Oh, yes. My mother worked very close with him. That's a leader. Black folks, you ain't had a leader like that before or after. I'll say it. You ain't had a leader like that before or after. Let me see. Oh, no, we ain't naming him. I'm sorry. Look, I probably should, but I'm not going to lie. There's some things about me, you know, some things about me, I'm old school, I'm conservative, and I'm traditional. I'm not going to lie. Some things I am that way. And when it comes to that, no. You know, I will not be naming James Baldwin, and I will not be naming Baird Rustin. And if you have to ask why, then you don't know history. Okay? In fact, James Baldwin was not a black leader. Neither was Baird Rustin. And I would name some other people, but I have acquaintances with their children, so I won't. But there are many black people who have been held up to you as black leaders because of the role that they played in the civil rights movement. But what they didn't tell you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to tell you who, but I'm going to tell you right now. Right? I appreciate that very much so, Majai. Right? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. This is something that y'all don't know. I'm telling you, you don't know. I know you think you do, but you don't. Okay? Many of those black leaders that they held up to you as black leaders because of the role that they played in Marimba Ani did a service that she can never be repaid for. Absolutely. 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 I'm putting all their names up there. Oh, absolutely. Damn, how you went in. Absolutely. Absolutely. I even give him love. SHAKKA-AHMOSE Shingo? Absolutely. No question. Do I like white people? One of my tenants is white, and we hang out all day together. Like, he's probably, I would say at this period of my life, he's probably my closest friend. Probably because, not because he's white, but because we're both from Brooklyn. We were both born the same year, 1967. And so we relate to each other, like the same music. Like we always doing, you know, what do you call that? Name that tune. Like we do that like all day long. You know, we'll go grab a bite to eat, and like, and we love to debate. And we debate racial shit, and we go hard. Sometimes we be insulting each other. I had to check him the other day because he was telling me a black joke, and I was like, dude, I can laugh at a good black joke. I'm not one of these people that can't, that's like so uptight, right? It's just that you got to know boundaries and where to draw the line. You got to know what to say and what not to say. If you don't know how to shift gears, even if you're telling a black joke to someone that's black, if you don't know this, it's like that's part of the intelligence of humor is timing. If you don't know when to do it and how to do it, leave it alone, because you're going to end up undermining your own welfare and well-being. And I had to really check him the other day and be like, I had to explain to him, like, dude. And I turned to him and I said, dude, not here. Not here. Right? And he was very apologetic. But that's how I am. I'm cool with anybody and everybody. And where respect has to be advanced, you advance it. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter where it is. You could be, I don't care. You could be surrounded by 20 dudes that got chainsaw the moment respect has to be advanced, you advance it. Or respect won't respect you. It's really that simple. So as far as whites, I got friends. He's not the only white friend. I mean, and he's not even somebody I should mention, because people could say, well, you're only cool with him because, he pays you rent or he's a tenant. So, all right, cool. So forget him. I have white friends that are like, yeah, like I could say it. They're like family. I'm not ashamed of that. Their kids are like family. I consider them like nephews and nieces, because I've known them since they were babies and I watched them grow up. I've been to funerals. I've been to weddings. I've been part of their lives. They've been part of my life. So, yeah, I like white people who are put it like this way. I like white people who are worthy of being liked. Period. Just like I dislike black people who are worthy of being disliked. Candace Owens, don't like her. Thomas Sowell, don't like him. Who else? Martin Lamont Hill, don't like him, but I'm forced to respect certain things about him. Who else? I can name a lot of white people I don't like. Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is a personification of stupid. I don't know her personally, but if I, they always say, and the same is true for me. You let somebody speak long enough, you'll find a reason not to like them. They'll give you a reason. They'll tell you who they truly are, and I'm no different. But at the end of the day, I think the best way to answer that question, and you probably won't understand it, is I would answer it to, in the context of respect, I would answer that in a Kwame Ture response. Do I like white people? The Kwame Ture response would be, it's inconsequential. Why should they matter so much that whether I like them or don't like them should even matter? I think white people should matter to white people. Should they matter to us? Not in particularly, only as human beings. And I think all human beings should matter to other human beings. But as long as there is a sport on this planet called race that has real life consequences, then people got to divvy up and decide what team they're going to play on. And just because you know what team you play on doesn't mean you can't behave friendly towards other teams or even ally. Teams can sometimes ally for the mutual benefit of both. That's just common sense. Good business. Good business is good for everybody. Welcome to planet Earth. But the issue with black people is that black people got too many issues of their own to worry about liking white people or not. That's just the truth of the matter. We have too much stuff to work out. I mean, look, I'm glad you're here and watching, and you're hearing. I'm probably one of the few honest black people that would just say what the fuck needs to be said. I don't care about your color, this, that, and the third. If you're here and you with us, you gonna get it. Period. A black person can know they can get it from me because I give it to them all the time, and I'm not gonna pull punches for somebody because they're white. I'm not gonna, nah. No, I'm just gonna tell you what it is. What it is that black people have too much stuff to resolve to care about whether or not if they're hurting white people's feelings, or whatever the fuck it is. We got too much stuff that we gotta fix to worry about liking white people or not liking white people. You understand that? I think if you are a thinking person, you can understand that. That white people really, and truthfully speaking, when it comes to the things that matter, they don't even really factor into the equation. And I'm gonna piss off a lot of black people saying this, like I really care about pissing off black people. We will find a reason to be pissed off, even when there ain't no reason to be pissed off. Especially when we hear something truthful. The truth of the matter is that white people are not black people's biggest enemy. They're not. I'm not saying they're not an enemy. Don't confuse that statement. I'm not saying that white people are not a combatant that black people should be concerned with in the context of a combatant. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that black people's biggest enemy is black people. Period. And I'm not shy about saying that shit in front of anybody. Period. Black pastors rob and steal from black people more than the IRS. Now think about that for a second. Black pastors rob and steal from black people more than the IRS. And if not more, certainly as much. So, who should black people really be mad at? At least the IRS made sure that the taxes go to, so we got street lamps outside at nighttime. We got public transportation if we need it. We got a public hospital or clinic if we need it. A public water fountain if we need it. A highway without potholes if we need it. Police officers if somebody needs one, preferably not a racist one, right? Or a corrupt one. You could be corrupt without being racist. There's all kind of corruption comes in all flavors and all brands. So I'm just saying all of that to say that liking white people is certainly not at the top of my list. The white friends that I have, I don't cherish them more than I cherish my black friends. People who are my friends are my friends. People who are my supporters are my supporters. And people who are my enemies and my adversaries are their own worst enemy and their own worst adversary. Facts. You understand? So, man. But it's a good question, though. I think it was a good question because it was. You know why it was a good question that you asked? I didn't even say your name. I should have said your name. Forgive me. It was a good question because it was asked in earnestness, and in honesty. And those are the kind of questions I like. I like people just being honest and just, being frank, No. Black people's biggest enemy is not white supremacy. Because white supremacy cannot succeed in what it does unless there's a co-optable element in the black community. This is why your own people will always be your greatest threat. Your own people will always be your greatest threat. White supremacy is a threat. No question, it is a very real, clear, and present danger. But the biggest threat facing black people is black people. Period. No question about it. No question about it. I can tell you right now, a lot of people are going to say this. When I look back over the past few years of my life, I can't think of any white person that tried to destroy my life, tried to destroy my reputation, spread false rumors about me. I can't think of one white person that did that. Everybody that did that looked like me. Everybody that did that looked like me. But by the same token, I also know that all of my biggest supporters look like me. So I don't get shit twisted. I don't take what the negative ones amongst us do, or the co-opted ones, or the corrupt ones, or the disenfranchised ones. I don't take what they do and put that on those of us who are whole. I don't do that. I treasure those who are whole. Oh, I treasure those who are whole. No question about it. You know, the whole ones, all those people who came out for me when I told them, hey, look, I'm putting together a comedic web series. I need monies for this. I need monies for that. They didn't hesitate. Shaka, here's 2,000. I ain't got much money, but here. Shaka, here's 1,000. I ain't got much money, but here. Shaka, here's 4,000. I ain't got much money, but here. These people ain't rich. And the ones who did that have never even met me in person. But the fact that they did that, that's when I said there are some black folk who, to me, those people, they are like, to me, they are an extension of the sacred communities I grew up in. Like, those communities were preparing me for people like that need to be served, right? The family out in California, Ndulugani in Japan, Ka'abet, right? Down in Florida, Ray Hardison, wherever the hell he's at, chasing somebody, right? General Uti, right? And his son, my nephew, right? So all of these people who are like, yo, Shaka, KEMETVILLE gotta live. Like the people need that. And I had to be reminded by T.C. Atkinson. For those of you who know who that is, she had to remind me at some point. I forgot what I was saying, but she really had to remind me. She was like, you know, KEMETVILLE is bigger than you are, Shaka. I understand that you came up with the idea. I understand that you're writing, but it's bigger than you. And when she put it to me like that, I had to really step back and say, damn. Yeah. She was right. KEMETVILLE is bigger than me. So I do hope to succeed. If I don't succeed, I hope somebody that was watching saw what I was doing and said, okay, he's incapacitated, God forbid, right? He's incapacitated. Let me, you try to lead by setting examples. So I have KEMETVILLE up here, right? So that as an example, you can see this is what Shaka's working on, right? This is what is coming forth. This is what the culture needs, right? I would love to have some rappers holler at me and be like, hey, yo, bro, I heard you was doing a comedic web series. I saw your show film. Because these people, they throw money out the window like it's nothing. The money that they spend on liquor or showing up for some chick, what I could do for the black community with that will be mind-blowing. But this is what I mean when I talk about black ideology and money having to remain separate. When you look at the Rick Rosses of the world, Baby from Cash Money Records, even Jay-Z, and the type of black shit that is supposed to be front and center for people to see on a constant basis. Church is every Sunday, right? 52 weeks a year, right? Sometimes more, right? You don't get to make a black video, music video, or a black album and then think, now you did something for the culture. No, we appreciate it. You got your little black thing off. All right, cool. That's not what this is about. That's not how this thing works. Right? Because when I tell you that I grew up in black organizations with people like Dr. Leonard Jeffries, people like Professor James Small, people like Dr. Yosef Ben-Yakinen, Dr. John Henry Clark, Francis, I grew up around these people. This was all year round from my childhood. All year round. When we was in one organization, if that organization was messing up in their leadership, we moved to another organization. When that organization was messing up and their leadership wasn't doing right, we moved to another organization. But my mother made sure that we grew up in these organizations. We grew up in First World. We grew up in ASCAC. We grew up in the United African Movement. We grew up. We were part of the framework. My mother worked side by side with Alton Maddox. She ran the summer camp for them. She ran the educational part for the summer camp for the United African Movement. I grew up in the Black United Front in Buff. I grew up commiserating with people from December 12th movement and Lone Bay Brath, whose name you don't even hear anymore. Gary Bird from WBAI. I grew up around all of these people. So you can't grow up in a community like that where you're seeing the unsung heroes do it every day, going to war in these universities. I watched that up close and personal. I watched them. People don't understand the war for the mind that has been being waged in this country, particularly since the 80s, the 1980s and the 90s, the late 80s. And you have no idea. You have no idea. I sat at the dinner table and heard the phone calls and saw this stuff unfolding in real time. People fighting against this fool, Arthur Schlesinger and the disuniting of America, and people don't. This guy with the bell curve, I forget his name, Durant or Robert, whatever his name is, right? Black people really don't understand the nature of intellectual warfare. We really don't. We think that we do. We party into the night pretending that we do. But we don't even know that that's the game. Let me show you what I mean. And then I'm about to ready to get off of here. Let me show you what I mean. There it is, right there. That's it. Right there. Right? Let me show you something. This is what I mean when I say black people are like have been kept at a child's mentality. First, I have to tell you the truth about black people in this country as it relates to white people. And then I'm going to tell you the truth about black people as it relates to ourselves. Okay? You don't have to like me. You can get angry, and that's fine. The truth about black people as it relates to white people in this country. Black people are very happy to be in this country with white people. Do you know why? Because black people in this country feel very protected. Listen. They feel very protected by white people. They're not going to tell you this. What do I mean? We don't worry about outside threats to any meaningful extent in this country. Why? Because that white man showed us what level of savagery and barbarism and intellectual violence he is willing to succeed to in order to protect his place on this earth. He dropped a hydrogen bomb, an atom bomb, a hydrogen bomb, and I think an atom bomb, right? On Japan, where people were vaporized right into the pavement. 1 minute they were standing there, the next minute they were literally shadows on the sidewalk. See, we don't like to talk about it. Oppenheimer, we don't like to talk about it. But once you see that kind of level of savagery, you say, oh, we behind enemy lines with them boys. Okay. So as long as we here, we good. long as we here, we good. Why? If somebody act wrong and somebody do something they got no business doing, we know these white boys in the Pentagon going to start pressing some buttons. They're going to start sending some planes and jets and FJE fighters and drones and all this other shit. And so black people in America, they feel like, well, as long as the white man got this shit under control, we good. We going to focus out over here. We're going to focus on Rick Ross. We're going to focus on Chris Brown dissing Quavo. We're going to focus on Kendrick Lamar dissing J. Cole. We're going to focus on dumb shit. Shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Shit that has no real power behind it. Shit that does not move the needle for the black community. Shit that does nothing for black families. Nothing. Zero. Sub-zero. That's what's important to us. We're going to focus on Beyonce being banned from the Grand Ole Opry, or whether they like her country song or not. Yes. This is black people. Black people are preoccupied with frivolity. Don't believe me? Go on TikTok. Go on social media. Go on YouTube. Go on Facebook. Black people are preoccupied with frivolity because the real issues of the world are too heavy for us to contemplate as a community. How can we contemplate the real issues of the world as a community when we can't even establish our own banking system to make sure that all of our communities are good? We couldn't even establish a network of our own record labels together. Death Row and Bad Boy and Motown couldn't come together. As if, I mean, I don't know, or whatever the black labels there were out there. I don't know, LaFace or whoever, I don't know. They couldn't create conglomerates. They don't think like that. Do you know what black people's biggest problem is? And I'll tell you right now. White people don't have to worry about black people. I'll tell you that shit right now. Black people, our number one Achilles heel is our ego. Just look at all the rap shit going back. It's all about ego. I'm going to disrespect you better than you disrespect me, and I'm going to do it with flavor. Ego. Black people, it's all ego. It's all ego, all of it. All of it. You think you better than me because you live in this neighborhood, or you got this few zeros on your check, or you got this girl, or you drive this car, whatever. It's all ego. It's all ego. But to do something meaningful that would change black lives moving forward in such a way that our own communities would first be forced to respect us differently than they do now. The world is not obligated to respect us. Why should they be obligated to respect us when we can't produce women who are trained to be good wives and husbands who are trained to be good husbands, so that we can first secure the number one institution in civilization, which is the family? If we don't care about our own families and our own family situation in pursuit of singular ambition, why should anybody be obligated to respect us? It makes no sense. Maybe one thing I think you should learn to do, and I always tell this to people, you should learn to do this. Learn to see yourself the way other people see you before you start spouting off about how you see yourself. Because how most people see themselves is usually a delusion. Think about your unattractive, ugly friend who thinks she's gorgeous. Think about your idiot friend who thinks he's a genius. Most people can't see themselves. That is a very hard struggle to do. It's something I fight to do every day. I make sure I try hard. I'm like, look, take a really good look. Not just with your eyes, but your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, how you treat people, all of those things. So, actually, no, that's not true, Alexis. It wasn't the feds that stopped all of them from creating their own distribution company. It was a particular rapper that did. It was a particular rapper who they tried to include in that, who in turn went and ran to the feds. Remember, I told you it's always going to be your own people. It's always going to be your own people. Black people were committing crimes against black people before the first white man crawled out of the cave. One of the things that I find interesting about black people, and this is what's exciting about being black. What's exciting about being black is we have more unfinished business on this planet than anybody else, than any other group. We have more unfinished business than any other group, which means that there should never be a boring moment. We've got so much shit to do, so many loose ends to tie up, so many things to put back in order, so many things to do away with. So there's so much to do. Who the hell's got time for depression? You ain't got no time to be depressed. You ain't got no time to be lonely. There's too much shit to do. We have more unfinished business than anybody else. This is the truth. So let me explain to you. I'm kind of stalling before I say it. But let me show you what I mean. I'm not going to even pull it up on the screen. You can go look for it after I talk about it. A few weeks ago, there was a whistleblower in Israel. And this whistleblower revealed to the world. Now, there were a chain of whistleblowers. It wasn't just one. There was a chain of whistleblowers that were communicating with each other to get messages out of Israel. What were they whistleblowing about? What were they revealing? They were revealing that the reason all of these Palestinians are being killed in such large numbers the reason that they're being killed is because of a military policy in Israel. What was that policy? Because this is what the whistleblower was about. Now I'm going to show you how black people are childlike. The policy that Israel was following was that it was creating kill lists. You know what a kill list is? It's when you put a bunch of names on a list that are to be neutralized, done away with. The only problem is that it wasn't the army or the defense force, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. It wasn't the human beings that make up the army that was putting the list together. They were using AI. They were using artificial intelligence to come up with kill lists. Now, normally, that's not so unusual, even though it should be absolutely illegal. Normally, you would have a human counterpart helping to filter out the list. That's not what was going on. They were using the AI to come up with the kill list, and then just had the military person just rubber stamping it, and then they would just go kill. The problem is that because of the policy and what was desired by the right-wing government was that, and other interests, was that the policy was not just to kill the member of the group that they deem as the adversary and the enemy, Hamas. That's not the problem. The problem was the policy was to kill the person and all connected to the person. So that when bombs were coming in, they weren't just killing the person. They were killing everybody in the whole building. If it was a high rise and you happen to live in that building because somebody else in that building that happened to be a part of Hamas, didn't matter. If you were family members, didn't matter. If you were just somebody who he was known to get his shoes shined at, you were gone. Anything and anyone connected to that person was annihilated. Now, if you were paying attention, I said that they were using AI to come up with the kill list. A computer, artificial intelligence. Something artificial was determining what organic thing should die. There was a movie made about that. It's called Terminator. This is a first in warfare on planet Earth that we know of. Why should this matter to Black people in America? Well, Elijah Muhammad, some people consider him honorable, others don't, so I'll just say Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad said something that was very true. I read all of his books. I read Theology of Time, Message to the Black Man, How to Live to Eat, many, many years ago. But he said something that was very true. Elijah Muhammad said something that was very, very true, and Black people never understood it. They never got it. Do you know, Majai, I was just thinking about this earlier today. I literally was. I absolutely literally was. What does this have to do with Black America? Elijah Muhammad said something. He said that the greatest invention that the white man ever came up with was a science. And and we used to think it was just some street corner bullshit. He said, because we had never heard the word before, and the word sounded so elementary and it sounded so stupid. We thought it was some shit he was making up. He said the white man created a science called tricknology. And to this day, we don't understand the gravity of that statement and what was really being said. Because I can tell you that, thank you, Canal. I can tell you that, just to make sure you see that Cash App if you feel that way about it. Tricknology is not something, it's not something that came out of the imagination of Elijah Muhammad. It's a very real thing. It's very real. In fact, geopolitics is ran by tricknology. But let me show you how the white man uses it. And when I say the white man, we all know what that means. That doesn't mean every white person. We understand what that means when we say the white man. We're talking about an entity that has always operated a particular way and still does. The greatest weapon that white interests produced in America was to convince Black America that they are not at war with Black America. That is their greatest weapon. Because that weapon lulls Black people to sleep so that Black people behave in a peacetime manner. When in fact, as a group and as a collective, they should be behaving opposite. Now, white people know this. Black people don't. So, why is this important? Because if I just told you that that was technology, that the illusion is that white people are not at war with Black people in America, then the truth of the matter, the logical conclusion is that there are white interests, permanent white interests in the West that will always be at war with Black people, particularly for the position of supremacy, of rule. Okay? So if that's the case, if there is an interest that is at war with you while pretending that it's not at war with you, then what do you do when they start to use this new technology the same way Israel is using it now in Palestine? Even though it's against international law, even though it's whatever, the way America works is America is not stupid. They're not going to do something first. They're going to let somebody else take that reckless risk and do it first, and then watch how the rest of the world reacts and see if there are any consequences and see if they acquiesce to it or not. It's a test run to see how well the AI solves the problem. But when do we sanction AI to kill human beings? Did you get that memo? Because I didn't get that memo. And if none of us got the memo, then what makes Israel think that it's above the law that it can do that? Why should you be asking yourself that question? Because if it's permissible to do that to the Black population of Palestine, and there is a healthy Black population in Palestine that is underrepresented in the media, so you don't know they're there. That's why I said there's certain things about Martin Lamont Hill I have to respect, because he speaks up for them. Just like there's a Black population in Yemen. You know, they say when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. So who do you think is really doing most of the suffering in these places? It's us. So when we see films that show you dystopian futures, like the Terminator in the future or Matrix in the future, and we see how dismal it is and how fucked up it is, that's not the future. That's right now. When you live in America and in Europe, certain parts of Europe, you're insulated from it. You're distracted by TikTok. Look at my dance. You're distracted by what rapper is dissing what rapper. You're distracted by which female rapper can be the biggest whore on the block and influence your daughters, to have your daughters dancing to their music on TikTok at 10 years old, at 8 years old, at 7 years old, dancing to making videos to Sexy Red and whoever else. Black people in this country are sick. So why did I say that? I said that to say that While AI has been given sanction to kill human beings on planet Earth, Black people in America are talking about Chris Brown dissing Quavo and Kendrick Lamar bodying J. Cole. That's a child that doesn't have to think for itself. That's a child that leaves the bigger issues of life and death to somebody else. So Black people in America, their position is, hey, as long as the white man is driving a car, I just want to be a passenger in that particular car. But what Black people don't realize is you're not a passenger in the car. You ain't even in the car. The Asians are in the car with them. The Asians and the Hispanics are in the car with them. Not you. You're not in the car. Doesn't matter how much money you have. You're not in the car. You know where you are? You're vulnerable out of the car in the middle of the highway getting ready to be ran the fuck over whenever they feel like it. That's where you are as a race. And that's the truth. That's the truth. White people have made more serious moves in the past decade to shore up their position in this country. Where are your leaders? Why aren't they talking about it? Why aren't your leaders strategizing and having town hall meetings about these issues? In fact, white folks have town hall meetings. What do Black people have? We don't even have a name for it because we ain't got nothing. How you going to name something you don't have? Let me show you the difference between white people in America and Black people in America. Black people have a lot of sneakers. You know what white people have? They have a lot of think tanks. Where are your think tanks, Black people? Where are the people who are willing to think on your behalf just based on the color of your skin and nothing else? Well, you can't say NAACP because that's not your institution. You can't say HBCUs because those aren't your institutions. How do we know? Because they're named after white people and started by white people. So they can't be yours. Every white institution that is white was started and manned by white people, period. And if a Black person came in, they came in at their behest and at their with their permission. Had to get permission first. See how that works? White people don't need the permission to run your shit. They move into Harlem because they feel like it. They move into Bed-Stuy because the place was prepared for them. They move into Gowanus and own it because it was. Look, come to Harlem. Go to all of the corner stores and see how many of them are owned by Blacks. There's an economic stranglehold right in your communities where you can't even get the basic amenities of life unless you go to an Arab to spend money, to buy a bottle of soda, to buy a pack of cigarettes that's going to give you cancer, to buy beer, to buy your sandwiches or your egg sandwich in the morning, or your toilet paper, or your spring water, and all of those things. In places in Harlem, in places like Brooklyn, in places like Queensbridge, and the government sets it up so that the Arabs can live off of you. Mm-hmm. The banks set it up so that they can live off of you. It's not solely their fault. Because you got to think with all that money that Magic Johnson has and Michael Jordan has And everybody else has, you going to tell me that y'all can't fix the economic problem at the bottom just by opening up some black stores in these communities so that young black children grow up in New York, in America, in California, seeing black people run the local neighborhood stores like it was in the 1970s when I was growing up. See, when I was growing up in the 1970s, right here in New York City, the neighborhood candy store was owned by a black husband and wife selling penny candies out the store. I never forget that. Miss Francis on Hoyt Street in Brooklyn, 1970. We'd run in there with our nickels and our dimes thinking we was rich because we bought so much candy and so much gum, you know? So I'm just saying this to say that black people don't know what time it is because they don't care. They want white people to tell them what time it is. Yes, this is the truth. This doesn't make white people bad. White people should not be responsible for your apathy, for your indifference. White people are not obligated to turn your head in the proper direction to look at what it is that you should be focused on. That's not their job in nature or life. So I have very little resentment towards white people, or white people do what they have to do for white people. Never get angry at somebody for doing what they have to do for themselves. All the shit they're doing with the courts, stacking the courts, conservativeness, whiteness, getting rid of affirmative action, or I applaud them. They're setting an example of how people should act for their home team. Black people don't want to act for their home team. Black people want to join everybody else's team. That's what they're mad about. No, I can't go to your school. I can't eat at your restaurant. And what I didn't tell you before about the civil rights leaders that they didn't tell you, let me tell you what most of those civil rights leaders was really about. While we were marching for equal protection under the law, while we were marching and demonstrating and fighting and dying for equal protection under the law, they were fighting for integration. They were fighting for racial integration. What is the ultimate form of racial integration? The ultimate form of racial integration is sex. That's what they were fighting for. They were fighting for the right to legally be able to have sex with white women. And some of the black men were fighting for the legal right to have sex with white men. Beard Rustin and James Baldwin. And those other leaders who were around Martin, who I won't name because their children are still around, they were fighting for sexual integration with white women because they all had children with white women, and some of them were brokenhearted because they were forced to leave a relationship with a particular white woman, and I won't name his name. If you read more, you would know more. So the point I'm making to you is that everybody used the civil rights movement to their benefit except black people. Oh, you don't know the story of how Jewish people used it to get to the centers of power. Oh, they used the hell out of the civil rights movement. That's right. And then locked you out of the institutions. Hey, if history is anti-Semitic, then history is anti-Semitic. I'm not. I could care less about somebody's Semite or not Semite. I don't give a shit about that. So, Now I'm looking in the comments. There's almost not one. This is what I mean. Now I'm using this as an example because I love to teach. There is not one comment about the AI issuing orders to kill human beings. You know why? Too much responsibility for Black people to handle, to address. Nobody wants to. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this is important because once whites in America, if you don't know who I'm talking about, which whites, once whites in America see that, oh, the rest of the world is willing to accept AI appointed deaths, who do you think is going to be the first ones they turn that on in this country? What do you think they're going to look like? Think it's going to be the Italians in Little Italy? Think it's going to be the Chinese people in Chinatown? Huh? You think it's going to be the Spanish people in the barrio? Is that what you think? Okay. If you think George Floyd was something, may he rest in peace. But yeah, it freaked me out when I heard about that AI shit because I've been around for a minute. I've been around for the better part of 60 years, almost 60 years. I've seen a lot of things. I've known what things have been permissible and what things are not allowed. Allowing artificial intelligence to come up with kill lists to determine who lives and who dies and in what amounts, that's a whole new level. And then for me to turn on all of the Black talk shows that I'm subscribed to on social media, to hear none of them talking about it, I knew something was wrong. Something was very, very wrong. Something's very, very wrong. Something that could really, really, but you know what? Your ultimate salvation is the love you depend on from white people. You think ultimately that white people love you so much that you can appeal to something, their sense of humanity, or the shared history we have. That's what you think. Well, okay. I might not be as optimistic about his love for us. I just don't think that that's something that I want to depend on to ensure our survival. But do Black people really care about their survival as a race? No. That's why they marry outside of it every chance they get. They want to make themselves disappear as much as they can. Serena Williams gets lighter with every picture I see. She's dying to do a Michael Jackson and the Stacey Dash. I'm just being honest. I know I'm not supposed to be, and I don't, how can I put it? It's just, when I see it, you got to remember, we live in a world where we're not in complete isolation. You know what I mean? And when you come into the public sphere and the marketplace of engagement, what we are all going to be judged on is what we bring to the table. And the number one thing that we bring to the table is ourselves, our appearance and our behavior. Those are the two things that we bring to the table, each and every one of us. The two things we all have to be accountable for. All of us. Right? All of us have to be accountable for them. So when we do things that, to quote Seth Godin, when we do things that are remarkable, you have to anticipate that people are going to say something about it. It's part of the human nature. It's part of the, call and response. If when I saw you, you were 2 shades darker than Tupac, and now you're in whatever age you are now, and now you're looking like damn near Mariah Carey. So we should. Sometimes you feel like you shouldn't make commentary on people's individual choices, and maybe I wouldn't if they weren't in the public marketplace of engagement. But if it's in the public marketplace of engagement, now I'm not. You notice I haven't spoken about anything that she does, that Serena Williams does behind closed doors. I don't get into people's personal like that. That's no. Nobody. I'm not into nobody's person. You know how many people have tried to get me to come up here and really go in on some personal shit with people, things that I know about people? Like, I would not ever do that because I wouldn't want anyone to do it to me. I'm a human being with a human past, shit with a human present, But this is where I draw the line. I don't do personal attacks concerning what's going on in your personal life, right? And that line, it could get a bit blurred the bigger you are as a celebrity. But in the public place of engagement, in the public marketplace of engagement, when you bring yourself to it, how you bring yourself, how you show up is subject to narrative. Yes. Subject to narrative. So, but it amazes me. Most black folks say, oh, it's AI. AI is killing people. Yeah, so that's above my pay grade. Okay. Whole lot of people lost their children thinking it was above their pay grade. They said, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm not a member of Hamas. I don't do so. Boom, they didn't care. So just saying, don't always depend on America's civility and humaneness, thinking that you can appeal to some sense of shame. You're dealing with many people who have no shame, don't know shame, and don't give a damn about shame. Can't spell shame. These people worship. Right now, you have a very serious white movement in this country that is seriously looking at Hungary as a model, right? The dictator, Viktor Orban, right? Who Trump admires. Trump is not the problem. The problem is all of these other white politicians who are looking to their European roots, because Turkey is the beginning of Europe. It's also the beginning of Asia. Okay? Wait, cartography moment. Gotta remember, hold on a second. Here we go. Right. So scratch that. I knew it. See, my memory is good. My memory is good. I knew that when I said that something was wrong. Right. So geographically, I was somewhat off. Okay. So I've always had yes. I've always had, let me come back. Right. I've always, you know how when you're young and you're in school, there might be one math problem that messes you up, or it might be one country that messes you up. Hungary and Turkey have always messed me up. I've always had a bad habit of shoving them together when they're not together, right? Hungary is Central Europe, Turkey, Southern, right? So Hungary has always been a serious problem. That's where it was, because of what took place right on the borders of Hungary is what caused World War I to take place, for those of you who don't know. And it was World War I that really excited white racism in the modern era when they lost a lot of millions and millions of white people died. And a lot of white people in America took notice of it. People like Lothrop started, who wrote Race and the Rising Tide of Color. Yeah, which inspired Hitler, by the way. And anyway, I'm getting tired. So, but that's what I think about. I think about the decisions that human beings are taking and making on this planet, how it impacts other human beings, and how that same effort and undertaking can be turned on us. Why wouldn't it be? Why shouldn't it be? Why couldn't it be? And at what point will it be? By that time, it's too late. So I'm not trying to do a Chicken Little thing or the sky is falling, the sky is falling. What I'm saying is, what kind of people are so irresponsible that forget doing something about it, that they just choose not to even take notice of it? Like, that's a level of irresponsibility I can't even, I'm just like, are we really doing that? Like, we just gonna pretend like this shit ain't happening over here? For real, for real? Like, it can't do a U-turn and come over here? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. So, what do I know? You know, what do I know? I don't know much. But in any event, anyway, I got to get over that. I'm going to drill myself one of these days to separate Turkey from Hungary, so that when I'm speaking of them, I don't conflate them and then get geopolitically tongue-tied. So it's not a good look. So in any event, that's just my Achilles heel. Turkey and Hungary. For some reason, I always threw the two together. Probably because, first of all, Turkey is not even called Turkey anymore. It's called Turkiya. I don't know if you know that they officially changed the name of the country. I don't know why I have those. Oh, I know why I have those on. How you doing? My name is SHAKKA-AHMOSE, and I'm your host for the evening. So, folks, with that, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, later today, 3 o'clock, you're going to want to watch it. Let me put it on the screen one more time so you can see it. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I'm coming back to it. Oops, hold on 1 second. Here we go. Right. Okay. This is tomorrow. The Black Church and their apologists and anti-Black racist satanic cult. I thought about the Black Church in these terms because I thought about what I experienced in this exchange that I had almost a month ago. And then when I went and read the comments on the video, I said, I really have to do this presentation. But I hesitated for a month because I didn't want to do it when I was I was in a very aggressive state. And I thought I would do more harm than good. And I didn't want to do that. My goal is not to do harm. My goal is to shed light so people can see things more clearly. That's it. Right? And we will be focusing on Pastor Bennett in this presentation, just to let you know. Okay? Just to let you know. He will be a focus throughout. And I'm just using him as an example because he's the most immediate example because of his behavior and what he did that y'all don't know about, but you're going to find out about. And to me, it is exemplary of Christian behavior and how they really behave. I have never seen a cult so hell-bent on deception declare itself to be ambassadors of the God of truth. Jesus is supposed to be the truth, the way, and the light. Well, if Jesus is supposed to be the truth, the way, and the light, why are your self-appointed ambassadors so steeped in deception? Something's not right. And we're going to highlight that later today. Okay? So, for those of you who appreciated this time spent, I think I appreciate that very much so. Very much so. For those of you who appreciate the time spent, thank you for showing your appreciation. I appreciate that. No, it's really just those two countries. Everybody has an Achilles heel. Mine has always been Turkey and Hungary. Right? I always forget Hungary is landlocked Central Europe, while Turkey borders the Hellespont and the Black Sea area and all that other stuff. So no big deal. It's just those two countries. Any other place, I'm good on planet Earth. Hey, test me all day long. I'm good. It's just literally those two countries. But you notice I caught myself. That's why I went and checked, because I remembered that about me. Those two countries, I always have to wait a minute. It's a childhood thing that just creeps up with me. So with that, Uncle Jaseneb, I will see you guys in a little while. I'm going to get some rest and show up for a good presentation. You might want to bring some Christians to watch this. That's all I'm going to tell you. You might want, if you got any Christians that have any questions, you definitely going to want to see this, because I went in on this presentation because I was really pissed off at what happened. I was just pissed off is not even the word. I've come to expect it from Christian apologists now. They're so dishonest and they're so deceitful. They're such liars. But Christians, they're such good liars that they have lying down to this art. It's a very fine art where they walk this line, and it's amazing the way they to watch it. It's a form of technology. It really is. But I see it for what it is, so I call it out like I do. Yes, it was called Operation Lavender. Yes, and also Operation Where's Daddy. So those are the two AI operations. Look it up. Operation Lavender and Operation Where's Daddy. Look it up. Yeah. It was deep. It blew my mind to see that. Hey, Zachary. What's up? What up, dude? Absolutely. Absolutely. Zachary's a good dude. For y'all don't know, Zachary's a good dude. Very, very bright. Very bright. And we are overdue for a contact. I always say I'm going to hit you up. I get busy as soon as I jump over this thing, I jump right back into KEMETVILLE. I'm going to hit you up, Zachary. If not, just send me another message to remind me that we need the link so we can, just talk, chop it up. All right? Zachary's good people. He's somebody that went out of his way to contact me personally and share some things with me. And I was just like, yo, yeah, dude is definitely, yeah, he there. Definitely. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh yo, you definitely gonna want to watch tomorrow or later on today. Definitely. You definitely want to watch. All I'm going to tell you, and you're going to want to see it live. It's not going to, what you see later on, it'll be good, but yeah. I'm saying a lot of things in there that really needed to be said and need to be shown so that people can see how people actually move. And then I want you to take what I show you in that presentation and I want you to turn around and then look at all of the clergy of these churches. Because you need to understand, black people really need to start to understand what's in their midst. If you got a cult in your midst, there's nothing wrong with having a cult in your midst. Nothing wrong with cults. There's something wrong when you have a cult in your midst and it tells you it's not a cult. That's a problem. That's a problem. It's a big problem. And when you have cults plural in your midst, all of them are telling you that they're not cults. That's a real serious problem. That's a real serious problem. My audio got statics. No, your pointy ass computer got statics. Oh no, distortion. Somebody else said distortion. Well, you know what? That's my signal to leave and go to bed and go get some rest. Uncle Johnson, that I gotta play an outro. I don't know what I have for outro. How about my music video, Pharaoh? I'll put up some of my other videos later, but I guess to celebrate the first iteration of facts over feelings. I'm gonna go with the music video, Pharaoh. So this is it. You've actually seen it before. I'm sure you have new people have it. So okay, absolutely. Oh yeah, exactly. You definitely gonna it's there. I'll tell you, anybody died children, especially black children. That's why I always tell people, I teach anybody, especially if I know that you might have contact black children. I don't care if you're a white person, whoever you are. If I can teach you, and you can teach them the right way, then my reach got further. That's it. All I care about is you know. That's it. Because I was one of those black children. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those black children. So it matters. You got to turn around and look and give back. So now I'm not doing videos too tired. So since I'm not doing that many video, I'll do how about we do the intro to KEMETVILLE. Let's do the teaser for KEMETVILLE, the web series. All right, here we go. Cool. So, with that, people, that was the trailer for the web series, more like the intro trailer. Still a lot more to come, a lot more work to be done, and that's just what it is. So with that, Uncle Johnson, I'm out, people. Everybody get some rest, think good thoughts, think wholesome thoughts, send love out into the world. Why she slapped somebody like that? Because he said the wrong thing. And you'll see when you watch it, he said something he should never have said. Absolutely. Okay. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of those. Absolutely. So with that, folks, Uncle Johnson Neb, get in the fair. That means good evening and blessings of the evening. Make sure you show up later today. Okay? Hey, don't say I didn't tell you. Because I told you.